Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode with one of our amazing speakers for Heal and Evolve, the global online summit that's happening September 20 to 22nd. And if you have not signed up yet, please sign up and secure your spot. It's not only because you will have access to 3 days with 12 amazing experts from all over the world, but also they will bring their gifts. They have their personal gifts that they will share, and they're all around healing and evolution and to guide you and help you with practical tools, with guided meditation or a journal or a recipe book, many different things that will help you to walk through these times, which are sometimes a little bit challenging. So welcome, Philippa. I'm very happy that you're with me here now to speak about also your involvement and your offering that you're bringing. I'm really grateful that you're joining us. I know you from South Africa, and we have been co-creating for a while already, and it's such a pleasure always that I can feel you also hold that intention, to bring healers together and to offer a diverse form of healing and personal development so that people can really find what resonates with themselves. And yeah, before we dive into maybe the offerings and what you're also bringing on the summit, I would love to also speak to you about or hear from you. I was asking all the other speakers, how do you perceive these times? Because obviously I had this calling to put the summit in exactly the solar eclipse and equinox window, because I feel it's such a crucial date in these times, and it stands for so many other things. And Margarita will come and share about that as well. But for me, it's important to also bring your essence in your perspective. So maybe you can share, whatever comes up for you, how you see this unraveling, this threshold, this transition time. Why do you think is this so important to focus on specific things? What is helping you? How are you in your community handling these times?
Thank you, Danny. It's wonderful to be here, and thank you for creating this platform. I think it is so needed at this time. And so, when I look at the world right now, I definitely see turbulence. I see people are very anxious and disconnected to themselves, to nature. People are burnt out. They have unregulated nervous systems. And yeah, I really think it's because the systems don't really support our spirits. And that leaves people feeling lost and stuck. However, these are shadows that can be transformed into gifts. Yeah, as you can hear, I work with the gene keys. Humanity is moving through what I believe is a collective initiation, a breakdown of old systems like patriarchy and consumerism to make space for something new. And if we look at traditions like the Hopi, the Mayans, the Tibetans, they all prophesied that this is a time of purification. Humanity must walk through this before renewal. It's almost like the dark night of the soul. Astrologically, you've spoken to Margarita, and I'm sure she will delve deeply into this, but Pluto's in Aquarius until 2044, which indicates there's a collective rebirth. Hindu cosmology also indicates that this is a time of winter. It's the winter season. So you can't really see any of the plants growing as yet. Everything looks dry and there's a lot of shadows coming out at this time. But it's known as the Iron Age. But that then will lead to spring, which is the Satya Yuga. Indigenous prophecies, even our own Prida Mutwa, who's a Zulu shaman, he said that this is a time where humanity remembers. If you look at esoteric teachers like Helen Blavatsky and Rudolf Steiner, they consider this time as a collective initiation. So, a major, major collective initiation. The gene keys, especially with gene key 55, it talks about humanity being in a victim conscious state at the moment. So, and we victimize ourselves through our limiting beliefs, through projection, through our own traumas, through what we tell ourselves, So we really create almost our own suffering at the moment. And, as with healing, what happens when somebody is about to release something? It manifests, right? It manifests either in the physical body, or it comes out as a big purge, a cry for those emotions to be seen, to be witnessed, to be experienced, to be really felt, and then to be released. So it's like that flare up before something gets released. So I really see this as sort of the time before, we experience this collective healing, and all prophecies indicate to that being it. What can we as individuals do during this time? And that's why I'm quite excited that I'm offering hypnosis at the summit, because, when you look at the subconscious mind, that's sort of the underworld for initiation. So it's the place where the shadow lives or the shadow resides. If you're able to enter the subconscious mind and help integrate your shadows, help renew, help give you more enthusiasm to be committed to your purpose, to actually follow your gifts, to release your patterns in life, to really meet them, to transform them, to set your intentions so that you can move into the renewal phase, then you've got your subconscious as an ally instead of as your enemy. And then the process almost flows better. You then flow like water. And I really find that purpose can be sort of your guiding flame through these times. Esoteric wisdom tells us, as within, so without. So if we do the work on the inside, then it will reflect in our outside world, sort of like the Maharashi effect, where the commitment and the purpose then starts rippling out into the rest of the world. And then we can turn our suffering into meaning, ultimately into transcendence.
So beautiful. You already kind of built the bridge from, what times we're living in and what you're bringing at the summit. And I would just want to emphasize that you said it, you mentioned it, we are starting on the day one with purification and resetting your purpose. And I'm also very grateful that you're bringing hypnosis, because I feel working with emotional clearing and with, overcoming limiting beliefs a lot with my clients. And there's other speakers who will also speak to that. So I feel it's almost a common theme, and it must be, right? Because we are in these times where we have to let go of the old. And 90% of our being, of our perception, of our awareness is in the subconscious. So even if we do not intend, we are directed so much by the conditioning, by the events, by even transgenerational installments that are in our system and are holding us back from moving towards the new. So I really love that you're bringing this, and I think it's such a gem and such a really beautiful gift also to the audience, that they will also receive a meditation from you to guide them through this process, so that they can really, really allow themselves to clear those old beliefs and those patterns, so that they can move into the new. And I love that you also brought up all these different prophecies and all these different timelines, basically. And what stuck with me is 2044. So, it's like another almost 20 years we will probably be in these times of changes. So it's nothing that comes overnight. And it might not even be something that's just really unraveling in our time, because I feel a lot of why we're here in this time, and as we know that our souls have made the decision to be here in this very important time, is because we are the ones who are now having the privilege, much more than our parents had or even our grandparents had. We have the privilege that we can look at these things, that we have the space, we have the technology, we have the guidance of other people. We have that so much in awareness. You and I speaking about witches, probably 50 years from now, we would have been burned or something, but like now is the time that we actually really have this privilege and the opportunity to look into the conditioned patterns and beliefs and everything, and reflect and ask ourselves, is that really how we want to live? Obviously, this is not how we want to live, the life and the collective, how we right now live in this world. So yeah, I love that you bring it up. And one other speaker, Rachel, she said so beautifully, the question is, in what unique way do you want to love life? To make it as easy as it is when we speak about finding your purpose and resetting and so on. It's like, really, how do you feel that you love life? In what moment, and how can you contribute to that? How do you want to love life? I think that's a really beautiful note. So
Yeah, that's a
I would
very
I would love to
powerful.
dive in a little bit more deeper, because I mentioned that. Say it again.
Sorry. No, I was just saying I love that quote, because, when you think of purpose, you think of, when you're really excited to do something, and when you're willing to do something, even when it's challenging, or when you haven't yet seen the fruits of your labor. It's when you feel that it resonates deeply with you and when you enjoy doing it. I know, if I may, from my own personal experience, I spent a portion of my life out of alignment. And for that entire time, I had this anxiety that I could feel. And there was just something that wasn't correct, and I knew it in my being. And only the day that I decided, this was coming, and I did the work to build the courage to eventually step into what I believed was my purpose and my calling. But the day I made that decision, it wasn't like the whole, suddenly everything became perfect around me. But the day I made that decision, that little bit of anxiety, that gut feeling, it dissipated. It was there since I can remember, and it just went away, and I never ever felt it again. And on the days when I wake up and I know, okay, now I need to work till 2 o'clock in the morning, or I need to do, or I choose to, because I don't have to do anything. Now I choose to do it, or I want to do it. I'm privileged enough to do it. The days that I need to step up and face adversity or face difficulties, because I'm aligned to my purpose, it carries a different frequency behind it. It carries a different energy. And everything that I do has so much more detail, has so much more love, like you were mentioning before, because now I feel that I'm moving towards something that I'm aligned with. So I just wanted to say I really loved that quote that she gave, because that's what it is. It's love that comes behind that, working in your purpose. So, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, Rachel Duffy gave that to me, and she's also going to speak at the summit. So I would love to invite you to speak a little bit more about what you're offering. You're coming with a practice of hypnosis and guiding people into resetting your purpose, I think, is the theme. But you
Yeah.
can speak to that a bit more. And I would also love, because I can assume that there's people coming who have never been in a hypnosis and might have questions, what's going to happen. So maybe you can also speak to that and to prepare our audience a little bit for it.
So there's a lot of prejudice, and I completely acknowledge that, around hypnosis because of show hypnosis. So, people have fear that they're going to not be in control anymore, or that I can now enter their subconscious mind and make them do something that they don't want to do, which is, it's not true. That they will be completely conscious, or they're being controlled the entire time, and they can accept or reject an idea or a suggestion or a statement. And why hypnosis is so powerful it takes you to a state in your mind that you're able to penetrate the subconscious. So you're able then to go to the place where those deep-seated belief systems are, that you can actually then go and start, they become more malleable. And once your subconscious is aligned to you and your way of being, it almost provides you with an extra little bit of motivation of, for example, if you need to change a pattern. If you are fighting yourself on that pattern, your willpower will last maybe half the day, but then eventually you'll give up. And the rest of the day, then, you'll fall back into old ways. But if right from the subconscious you've made a decision, it's easier then to actually follow through on that decision, because then your entire being is aligned to that. And so I definitely think that, or I definitely understand that there's a lot of prejudice around hypnosis, but it's actually just a beautiful way to integrate. It's a beautiful way to come to acceptance. It's a beautiful way to make changes. And also, at any point, you can accept or reject what you're receiving. So you're not completely gone, and I can't now, come and change the way that you are completely, or put my own ideas within you, because you are still conscious throughout the process.
Yeah, beautiful.
Also, a lovely tip, you mentioned to prepare the audience. A very nice tip is just before the session, if the audience can drink a lot of water, if you drink about 1.5 liters to prepare yourself for the hypnosis, because when we're hydrated, the hypnotherapy actually works better. And the rest of the time they would just need to receive. And always, I'm a big person of intention. I believe that anything you do should have some form of intention behind it. So if, they decide to come, which I really hope they do, to join in on the hypnosis, then to have an intention, an intention to be open, an intention maybe to be in a receiving space, an intention to even just be open to the fact that there is a possibility that they could live a life where they live in their purpose. That's a step closer.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. And the hypnosis will be around the topic of resetting your purpose. Is that correct?
Yeah, 100%. And I'm very excited about
Yeah.
it because it's something that I talk a lot about in my own shop. A lot of people come and have conversations with me just when they're on that, that precipice where they're about to actually move into those spaces. Because it can be very scary. And I understand that fear. I've experienced that fear over and over again until I made the decision. And also what to expect, once you actually make that call. So it's definitely a topic that I am extremely passionate about, and that I encourage. I encourage everybody around me, the communities that come to this shop. I will also do it with the new shop. Yeah, and in all our spaces that we work in, that we also collaborate in. It's one of the reasons I set up those healing spaces is because, I find it very sad when healers have so many skills and potential and they don't actually have a platform, or people don't know how to access them. Living your purpose is definitely one of my themes.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
beautiful purpose also for the MagickGem that you just mentioned, that you are creating these spaces, which is a shop first, but then it's much more because it's a space where there's a lot of workshops and other formats happening, right? People come for healing, for courses, for anything. And you have this intention to create a space where people can come and find healing, but also for practitioners to offer it in a physical space. So that's where we also align so much because it's the same in LAULIMA, and we have a collaboration where we will also share the spaces more. So I really love seeing that unfolding, bringing your beautiful local community online and vice versa. So thank you for that as well. And maybe you also want to speak a little bit about what you're offering there, because I know that you're also one-on-one offering hypnosis, obviously, for people who are interested in that after the summit. But what else is happening in your 2 shops now in Cape Town? And you can also speak to the offerings of the healing spaces and the festivals, because I feel that's also some big work of yours.
Yeah, thank you. So I love a physical space, even in my soul plan. I also do soul plan readings. I have an imprint that I like creating an actual physical space. So I love the shop. Everything we do within the shops is very intentional. I mean, our morning routine is we light the candle, we smudge, we set our intentions for the day. We put Reiki so that everyone who walks in receives a clearing and feels better, so that the frequency actually heals them and gives them a bit of ease in their chaotic lives. And then through the space, we try and support anybody on the journey, and we don't subscribe to one thing or the other. Through studying metaphysics and through my years in these spaces, and also having grown up with a mother that's an astrologer and that does readings and divination and so forth, I've had a lot of exposure to this work, which has given me the privilege of knowing, what's sort of educating people around, for example, divination tools and metaphysical supplies and so forth. So, we try and make the shop a place where you can learn as well. You're not just coming in and just buying things, for example. Everything is with intention. And then through the shop, as you mentioned, we promote healing, alternative healing. So we promote divination because that can be very healing, especially if the reader knows what they're doing. We promote all types of energy healing. So I teach Reiki through this space, and then we have healers or facilitators of healing that come and practice through the space. It's predominantly Reiki, but there are other healing modalities that happen through the space, like quantum healing, crystal surgery, and so forth. We have access to, as you know, many, many practitioners, especially in South Africa, that do divining traditionally as well. So bone divination, psychic work. Yeah, so we have a big variety of practitioners. So when somebody walks in, then we can do a little bit of a consultation. They'll tell me, this and this is happening in their lives. And just due to my access and having had the shop for so many years, I can then refer a couple of people to them where I think that could actually assist them and help them. with what they're going through at the moment. Yeah, so we've got the two shops. The one is here in Observatory, and the other one is now going to open in Simonstown
Yeah,
soon.
congratulations to that, yes.
Thank you. It's going to be a proper vintage esoteric shop. So we're really looking forward to having it open. All our creativity is pouring in there. And as we were talking just before the interview started, creativity is sort of my theme at the moment. I really believe that the more people delve into expressing themselves, the more cathartic it is and the more healing can happen. So we really focus, especially through the shop, on creative healing and encouraging people's creativity. And then we set up these sort of healing spaces at wellness festivals. So, for example, you've been part of some of them. At Retreat Yourself, we run Heal Yourself, which is one of the big festivals that we do set up the healing space at. And it's just beautiful to see how well received the space is, how the healers support each other, and, you know, what comes from that. Because I've had so many clients after come and tell me that it opened doors for them, that they actually saw that there was a different way. Because unfortunately, the way that's been sold to us and the way that we often think without getting access to these other modalities, healing happens isn't always the way that healing happens, or it can be really prolonged. I've had clients that, you know, had things shift within one hypnotherapy session that they've been working on for years and years and years and years. So yeah, and those spaces are beautiful because it's collective healing. It's joyful as well. So healing doesn't always have to be extremely difficult. I mean, there are instances where it is very, very difficult, but it doesn't always have to follow that narrative. Sometimes it's as easy as let me witness it, let me hold it, and then let me release it. And if somebody is well trained, they can help guide you. They can facilitate that by holding your hand through that process. And then letting your hand go so that you can take responsibility for, you know, what comes next. So you're not reliant on somebody else to always assist you. Yeah, so the healing spaces are very dear to my heart. I absolutely love seeing everybody come together, set that common intention for healing, and then just creating magic.
Creating magic, exactly. This is what you're
Yeah.
doing. I can see it in all the spaces. Yeah, it's beautiful to also emphasize for people, you know, very often I can assume that people are feeling quite isolated and alone on their journey because we are still living also in a world where it's not common to reach out and speak about what you're going through. And I know that your shops and also the festival spaces are an opportunity, you know, to find other people who also are going through several similar things, and where you just said it, you know, that you can find this people who are holding the space for you so that you can go through your healing process. And I really, really honor that. And I feel that's also part of how we come together in the Global Online Summit, right? Is that everyone who I asked really immediately said, yes, I want to be part of this, because we also as the ones who are creating these spaces and who are holding the spaces for people and who are connecting others. I feel also for us it's important to come together and to know that, you know, we're doing this together. And it also for us, it sometimes can feel like, wow, we're holding all of this, but then there's others who walk this path with us as well. So that's why I also love on that level, you know, the community of healers and experts that is coming together. And I can feel it really, even from those who have been working for 40 years, 50 years, how important it is still to come together with other like-minded souls and share this time and share this path that we're working on. So yeah, it's really beautiful. Thank you so much for coming today, Philippa, and sharing what you're bringing. And also, you know, I can feel already through the transmission of what you're speaking to and what you're going to bring energetically, that it will also add to the frequency that we're rising and that we are activating in the space. So I already said it in another interview. I really feel that everyone who's coming and listening to one of these beautiful talks and receiving the gifts, everyone stands as a placeholder for so many others, you know. So it's really every individual who's coming is also a place for the collective. So I really encourage everyone to sign up and come and join, even if it's only for one session or one day, and then also receive gifts of all the other people, and that you can share it with your friends and family in your network. So thank
Yeah.
you so much, Philippa. Is there anything else you want to share before we close this?
So I would like to share that I really like what you're saying about this placeholder, that it ripples out, because that is so true. So, especially with my topic on purpose, purpose is not just personal, it's really how we participate in humanity's renewal. Yeah. So that's it from me. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody at the summit. And thank you so much for creating this. I support it 100%, and I think it's just going to be too divine.
Thank you so much, Philippa, yeah, for support and for being here, and also for what you're doing, bringing into the world and inspiring so many others. Yeah, thank you. And audience, make sure to sign up, and we're going to see you on September 20th and coming back all together. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.